I'm Jenny Spinner from Snack Food and Wholesale Bakery, and I'm here chatting with Craig Wilson of Costco. We're going to talk about some interesting developments at the company and across the industry in food safety. Craig, thanks for joining me today.
Oh, you're welcome. It's a pleasure to be here.
I was wondering if you could start off by telling me a little bit about yourself, your career path, how you became a food safety expert. It's not a glamorous role, but it's sure important. And what you do at Costco.
Sure. The word expert, I'm sure you're using loosely. So I've been working in the food industry for the last 50 years. And in the Northwest in 1993, we had a terrible E. coli outbreak with Jack in the Box.
Mm-hmm.
And my son went to school with the kids that got sick and died. And so one of his friends that was classmate with was Brianne Kiner. And he came home one day and he was a little guy. And he goes, "Dad, is there anything you can do to help with this?" And I'm not a medical professional at all. I'm an engineer and a food safety guy. And but we thought about it, and I got with some other folks, and because I had this crazy idea that we could do something to help. So that culminated over time in steam pasteurization for beef, pork, and poultry. And then since that outbreak, we worked on it, we got it completed. All the major beef processors in the country installed steam pasteurization for beef. And it worked beautifully, and it really made a difference, I believe, in saving lives. And it's state of the art today, even after all those years. And it's still being used in most of the beef plants that you go to. So that worked out really well. And so I continued to work. I worked for a company for 22 years, 23 years called Frigoscandia when that work was being done. And Frigoscandia is a global food engineering and cold storage company. And so in 1997, 98, I actually kind of decided to retire. And I had been doing a lot of work with Costco, and it was fun work. I helped them through a couple of recalls and all that kind of stuff. And they got wind that I was going to retire and asked me if I would come and talk to them. And I said, sure. And so I went to Costco and talked to the most senior leadership at Costco, Jim Senegal, Dick DeSergio, Tim Rose, and Charlie Winters was running the meat department at the time. And they were all people I had known from years prior where I'd helped them. And they said they needed a food safety and quality person, and was going to put a team together, and would I be interested in being part of that? And because they didn't have anything in those days.
Really?
I said, sure. I said, and Jim said, look, we'll give you a white sheet of paper and we'll stay out of your way. And I went, okay, I guess I'm not going to retire. So I've been here for the last 25 years, and we've developed the food safety program at Costco and the quality assurance programs with great people that I get to work with. We've got great staffs that have really done the work and really helped move food safety forward in a general sense. We're a company that feels that there's nothing to hide with food safety. We're going to share everything we can with any company that needs the help. But we're the company that started food safety audits at retail. We did all kinds of stuff, and we're still doing all kinds of fun stuff today that helps improve the process and makes things a little bit safer for the Costco member, makes it a little bit easier for the Costco member to understand. I'm a very firm believer that when you go shop at Costco, you don't go in there worried about the quality or the safety of an item. You go in there to have a great shopping experience and find great items. And that's part of my responsibility to see that's done. But I'm very lucky because I've got a food safety staff at Costco that's about 230,000 people, something like that, that all get it when it comes to food safety. They understand it's a cultural thing for us. And we've built that over the years also.
That's great. And thanks to you and your team, Costco has built a reputation for being extremely serious while having fun about their food safety mission. Could you talk a little bit about why that is important? Why Costco works so hard to maintain that mission? And maybe talk about some of the programs and tools that Costco utilizes to help them stay on top of that important matter.
Well, sure. You know, you can have a great mission statement and everything, but if you don't have a good premise, you're not going to go anywhere. And our premise is that, quite simply put, that preparation is much better than any of the alternatives, or being prepared is much better than any of the alternatives. Nobody wants to be notified of ill people. Nobody wants to be notified of a recall. So if we're prepared and if we've done our homework, we're going to help eliminate those. When it comes to the different things that we do to support our food safety mission, some of the key things are having great specifications for food items. And within those specifications, we include food safety requirements and attributes. So if we're going to buy apples from Jenny Spinner's Apple Company, we're going to give you a specification for an apple. And it's going to have microbial specifications. It's going to have sweetness. It's going to have all the things that make up an apple. And you're going to look at this specification and you're going to go, well, holy cow, I sell apples. I don't know about all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay with us for somebody to say that. And that's your indication that you can't sell to us. And that's fine. Somebody else will want to meet the requirements that we set, and we'll move on with our business. Our micro specifications are tough, but they're tough for a reason. And then we have a test and hold program across Costco that we started during the ground beef issues way back when, 25 years ago. And we've moved the test and hold programs into certainly all fresh produce that's bagged within the Costco cooler. Field run, romaine, and lettuces are now on a test and hold program. When you look at the service deli where you go back and buy all those great items that you can take home and pop in the oven, or high roller sandwiches, or all of that stuff. And also I will include the food court in this next statement, as is on a test and hold program. Every ingredient that goes into those items that you take home has gone through a test and hold program, lot by lot of production. So we think that's pretty important, and we think that's paid great benefits to our members. Those are just a few of the things we've done. X-ray is another one that we started actually years ago, and we've just sent out another update on X-ray to all our suppliers. And you know, the idea of using magnetic resonance to find stuff in foods seems greatly antiquated today. I can walk through the airport and go through their machinery, and they'll say, oh, Craig, you have a toothpick in your pocket. Well, holy cow, you're right. I do have a toothpick in my pocket. So that's really good technology, and we want to apply that same kind of thinking to finding stuff in foods. The number one food safety issue in this country is not salmonella. It is not some of these other organisms that you hear about. It's the sticks and stones and things that you find in food items that are going to harm you, or give you a terrible eating experience. And so how do you identify stuff in foods? So, and then our audit program is constantly evolving at Costco. It's really neat, actually, but it's constantly evolving, and we rely greatly on third-party audits that follow the Costco audit system. And all of our audits are unannounced, which sometimes causes a little angst for suppliers. But the reason for an unannounced audit, quite simply put, is that if you announce an audit, you end up with an audit beauty show. I mean, they know we're coming, everything's in the plant's been just spit shined and polished, and the plant always passes. Now, if we go back 3 days later, we're going to see the plant in real world conditions. And that's what we need to see to understand how these products are truly being manufactured, handled, and put forth to the consumer. And so, yeah, there's a couple of little things that we do.
Well, the reason why I reached out to you is I just came from Snackspo in Orlando last week, and as people do, we were sitting around one of the receptions and talking about, just products and issues, and somebody brought up the deadline of April 1st. And they mentioned that Costco is going to start requiring producers, including the snack and bakery producers that read my publication, to put in some requirements, as you mentioned. I was wondering if you could please tell us about the comprehensive foreign material detection requirements that are going into effect, and how that list builds upon requirements that have been in place before.
It's really, that list is really a reminder. That list has been there for everyone. And it wasn't enforced well because equipment wasn't available to really help. And a lot of people that were doing foreign material activities were using people on the line. And I'm sure you've gone into snack food lines, cracker lines, and seen 1,000 people on a line just sorting through stuff, looking for broken stuff, off color, sticks and stones and dead rats, and just whatever could be coming down the line. Now all of that can be automated, and it should be, because it's much more efficacious. It helps lower costs, and it helps drive safety back into the item for the consumer. So what's really important, everybody should remember that the microbial sampling I mentioned and the auditing that I'm talking about doesn't do a thing to make food safer. What it does do is give the operator information on how their systems are performing. And are their systems working the way it's supposed to keep the quality level where you want it and keep the consumer as safe as they've designed their item to be. And we just want to make sure, we want to inspect what we expect in everything we do. And is it new? No, it's not. It's just reinforcing as things change, that, yeah, we're serious, and we need everybody to be on board, because the consumer is going to benefit. And that's why we don't banty this stuff about. I mean, you heard it from other suppliers. You never saw a press release or anything from Costco, because we don't do that. It's not what we do.
I was thinking that, yeah. People were definitely concerned at the reception, and then some of the companies, especially the equipment providers, I believe
they all want to be first.
They want to be first, and they want to sell some systems, I would imagine. It's good to be diligent, but I can't blame them for wanting to make money. So the next question would be, will this reminder will not really impact producers. They're not going to have to go out and buy a big new piece of equipment. They're just going to, the ones that are doing a good job will keep doing a good job, watching out, correct?
Are you speaking for them?
No. No, the ones that are in line will just keep doing what they're doing. I'm trying to
Yeah,
save
I mean, the
Mary.
majority of the folks, this isn't going to affect. I mean, they have systems in place. And the people that don't have systems in place, will it affect them? Yes, it will. Um, they need to be able to prove whatever they're doing is as good as X, Y, or Z, with the technology that's available today. And if they can't, again, that's actually okay. We'll work ourselves through it, but they may not be able to sell to Costco. It's like a food safety audit. If we can't get a food safety audit from a company, or they refuse to do one, that's okay. That's a choice they've made, but we clearly will not be able to buy from them. So,
Interesting. How often does it happen, or does it happen at all, that somebody who sold in your stores falls out of favor, I guess, thanks to a failed audit or questionable audit?
it doesn't happen very often. Now, does it happen? It does. But we're going to work hard with that supplier to help bring them back up to snuff and do what we can to get them back in. You know, our business is a very large business from when you think about the dollars that we have in sales per year. But when you look at the number of SKUs you have inside a Costco building, it's very small. You know, we've only got 3,500 SKUs in a Costco building at any given time during the year, where some of your other retailers of similar size will have 140 to 160,000 SKUs. So the suppliers that are in Costco are high volume suppliers. We're turning a lot of merchandise, and those suppliers are just great. But without these great suppliers, we don't have a great business. And so we have to be disciplined in what we do in order to make sure our members pay a lot of money to shop with us, and we appreciate that. And they deserve the very best we can give them.
It sounds like you're prepared to provide that. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Are there any other food safety programs, requirements, anything like that in the works that you could talk about, or that our readers should know about?
Well, yeah, there are some in the works, but could I talk about them? No.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, no, there's always changes being made, and food safety systems aren't cast in stone ever. They need to be fluid. They need to be able to move with the industry and then move quickly. I think part of the problems with some of the food safety systems that are out there, you've lost flexibility. And I don't want to lose flexibility in any of our auditing systems or anything we do. And when I started this audit system, I don't know how many years ago, it was a very long time ago, 25 years ago, there were no outside audit companies. We had to go to different lab companies and train them on third-party auditing. And now that auditing business has turned into a multi-billion-dollar business, which is kind of interesting to see. So what we do is we try to keep it really fluid, really flexible. We love working with small suppliers, and helping them come on, and the big suppliers are they're just great. I mean, they really get it. They understand it. They know that without that consumer out there, they're not going to sell their items. So, and then the other thing, of course, that we're we work hard on our recalls and making sure that our consumers are really taken care of, that Costco member is taken care of during a recall cycle. So that's important to us.
That is. Well, I know you have a lot to do and you're very in demand, so I will let you go. Thank you for your time. And thank you for clearing some of those things up. I hope to see you in May at the Food Safety Summit in Rosemont. If you can make it, I know there's a lot going on, but I'd love to buy you a beer, tea, coffee, whatever beverage you prefer. Um,
I'm planning to be there.
okay, well, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. Have a great day, and thanks to our audience for listening.